Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another update with Wounded No More. Thank you for joining us. We're excited to be with you today to share you some updates and really to start out with an encouragement. We want to encourage you, as you look at the world, as you look at everything that's going on in the world with wars, with political drama, with family drama, like the list is long, right? But as you look at that, I want you to think about how you can be active with the Holy Spirit in doing something in every space, in every environment you're in. The Holy Spirit empowers us to be witnesses for Christ everywhere that we go. And so it doesn't matter if you're in school, if you're at home, if you're at work, if you're in a church building, you can be His representative. So think of creative ways you can represent Him everywhere you go. You are empowered by the Holy Spirit, if you are filled with His Spirit, to go and represent Jesus everywhere. And all you have to do is just say yes.
And sometimes people won't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Because we answer to God and He gives us the direction. And sometimes you'll find yourself in places where you're like, wait, how did I get here? And it's just saying yes to the Holy Spirit. And what's great about Holy Spirit is He goes beyond all boxes and all doors.
That's right.
So He will open those doors and He will open your eyes to more opportunities that you would have never thought of.
That's right.
Like we find ourselves in spaces like public health events and prevention days. I had the honor to be there for SAMHSA's Prevention Day to represent Wounded No More and talk about how we need to talk about spiritual wellness.
That's right.
And as a form of prevention and helping create a spiritual healthiness to be able to avoid like drug addiction or other unhealthy behaviors. And it was wonderful to be able to share what God is doing through us and how we're actually helping people with post-traumatic growth and healing. And it was so interesting because the perspective and the way I was received this time was different in the years past.
Good.
And not only that, that gave us an opportunity as Wounded No More to revisit the Veterans and Military Family space. We were so honored to participate in a Love Your Neighbor event with Access Housing in DC. And it was beautiful because there were so many organizations that were helping veterans, and so we were able to share what we can offer as far as the spiritual wellness component. And so again, we were received greatly. A lot of people were really interested in what we were doing, and it was God. God gave us favor, and He opened these doors for us to go through, and so we said yes, and we walked through.
And it's so much fun to be able to take that spiritual component, which is something in those spaces most people don't consider, or they kind of push off to the side because they're afraid to get into the conversation about spirituality. And so we can just simply say, hey, look, we offer that piece. All of you can do the same thing. You can go and offer that element, that piece of the spiritual component to people in different spaces because you represent Jesus. So just keep saying yes. We also were just at the National Prayer Breakfast and got to participate with some of the First Nations events that were taking place and watch as they were able to show what God is doing in the tribes and in their communities and on their reservations. And we got to pray for those people and pray for others at the prayer breakfast. And so that was a lot of fun. So we're always looking for ways, outside the normal, context of the church, outside those four walls. How can we go represent Jesus in this space or in this space or in this space, in places where you don't usually see pastors or Christians show up and represent Jesus in that way? So we love having those opportunities.
And it's beautiful because we don't have to portray ourselves as anything other than what Holy Spirit is telling us to say. And our identity comes deeply rooted in Him and our relationship with Him. And so we don't even have to say it. It shows in the way we relate to people, the way we love people, the way we encounter people and have conversations. And we're just sharing stories of what God is doing. And I love it because it's not bragging. It's giving God the glory for what He's doing. And so I think that I found myself in the past kind of holding back a little bit to share those things because I felt like it was almost like bragging. Oh, look at what Wounded No More is doing. And then God showed me, no, Lauren, it's about sharing what I'm doing. So I want to encourage you, take more time to share what God is doing in your life. And it doesn't have to be forceful or even like shaming even. Just an encouragement for people. You know what? Like, this is what God did in my life. And then you will help them realize what God has been doing in their lives as well. So this is an encouragement on how we can walk out our supernatural every day by sharing with people the goodness of the Lord. And we just want to bless you and encourage you with boldness to say yes and to do what God is asking you to do.